This week, we are going to be talking about subtraction and practicing our subtraction problems. And I'm going to go through 5 different strategies that we can use when doing subtraction problems. But before I do that, I'm going to go through some keywords that we might see or hear when we're doing subtraction problems. The first way, and one of the most common ways that we hear subtraction in a problem, is that something is taken away. So if you have 5 cookies and you take away 3, we're subtracting those cookies. The next way, and another very obvious way, is minus. That's the key word. And that's what tells us what the symbol is going to be when we're writing our math sentence. When we hear minus, we know that it's going to look like that. And then lastly, and less common, we'll hear the word less. So if you have a certain number of things less than another, then we'll most likely be doing subtraction. So let's get into our strategies. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is using your fingers. So usually when we're using our fingers, we're not going to go any higher than 10. We only have 10 fingers to work with, so we're not going to be doing subtraction problems with numbers bigger than 10 when we're using our fingers. So my example is going to be using 10 to show you what we can do. So if my subtraction problem is 10 minus 7, and I'm going to use my fingers, I'm going to put up all 10 fingers because that was my biggest number. And when we're doing subtraction problems, the biggest number is always going to come first. So I have 10 fingers up right now, and I'm going to take away or put down 7 of those fingers. So I'm going to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to look at what I have left. And I have 1, 2, 3 fingers. And that is what I'm going to write down for my answer. You always are finding out what's left when I've taken it away or subtracted or minused it. So that's one way. Use your fingers. That's a simple way that we've probably already been using a whole bunch this year. Next up, I'm going to show you using drawing a picture or dots. So I have the problem 7 minus or take away 3. And I'm trying to figure out what it is. One way to do it, if you have pen and paper, is to draw a picture. I'm going to draw dots. And I'm going to draw, again, the bigger number first. So I'm going to draw 7 dots. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dots on my board. Now I want to take away 3 of them, so I'm going to put an X through 3 of them. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to see what is left over. That's what my answer is going to be. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 dots left over. So that's my answer. 7 minus 3 equals 4. Next up, I'm going to use a manipulative. Remember, manipulatives can really be anything that you have lying around that you have multiple of. I am going to be using linking cubes to help me with this, but you can really use any kind of object that you have around the house. So my problem for this is going to be 6 minus 2 equals. And I'm going to try and figure out what that answer is. So I already know I have 6 cubes here, but we'll double check. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cubes. And again, I'm starting with my big number and I'm taking away the smaller number. So I'm going to take away one at a time. 1, 2 cubes, and then I'm going to count what I have left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So my answer to 6 minus 2 is 4. The next way that you can use to help you solve subtraction problems is using a number line. So we have a number line in the classroom, and that's a really helpful tool when you are trying to do addition and subtraction. You can use the number line. So for example, if I'm trying to figure out what 8 minus 3 is, I can draw my number line, and I have, starting all the way over on the left, I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I'm going to go up to 10 just to make sure that I have enough numbers on there to do the problem correctly. I know my problem says 8 minus 3, but I want to get down 1 through 10. So there's my number line. Now I'm going to use a different color to help me with solving the problem. So again, we're always starting with the bigger number. So my bigger number is 8. That's where I'm going to go to start. Here's my starting point. I'm going to put a dot on it. So if I'm on 8 and I'm taking away, I'm going to be going back towards 1 because I want to go towards smaller numbers. I know my number is not going to get bigger if I'm subtracting. So I'm going to be going back this way towards 1. And I'm going to go back 3 hops. So I'm going to show you what those hops look like. I go 1 hop, 2 hops, 3 hops, and where I stop, that is my answer, and I stopped on 5. So 8 minus 3 equals 5. So that's another good way and a great way to visualize what your subtraction looks like on the number line. And then the very last way to do it is to go even further than drawing dots as your picture. You can visualize it and think about, for example, you probably are familiar with a song called 5 Little Ducks. And in 5 Little Ducks, it has ducks walking away, and then you're left with how many in the song. And so you can think about that when you're doing subtraction. So for example, if you want to draw a picture of 5 ducks and then 1 walked away, how many ducks do you have left? So I'm going to picture that song in my head, and I'm going to have my little ducks here, and I'm going to have my 5 little ducks. They're not going to be the greatest little ducks right now, but 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And then I think about it like this. Oh, 1 little duck wandered away, and I have 4 little ducks left. So that would actually be a subtraction problem. Did you know that that song was doing math? 5 little ducks, 1 walked away, and only 4 were left. So all of these are different ways of using strategies to help you solve a problem. If you can't do it automatically in your head, use one of these strategies to help you solve the problems.